Hey there, how are you doing today? Have you ever wanted to do a mouth similar to the one that I have right now? Well, I'm gonna show you how to do that. Granted, it's not gonna be the same, but you get the idea. We're just gonna have some fun here. So first of all, hi, I'm down here. How are you doing? Anyways, so you'll see little blender cube here, cause reasons. I don't know. He's just here. He do be cubing. Anyways, let's get rid of him. And we can just do stuff like, for example, just to get started with a character. I usually do a round cube. I do this, and then I do a radius of 1. That way we get like a perfect circle. And honestly, it's not bad. And this is with me expecting for you to know already some basics of Blender. You should at least know the basics. Come on now. Anyways, so with your little blender thing, you should always try to do low poly first with your character and then continue to high poly. Otherwise you have issues. I'm just gonna do a quick face shape, do a mirror modifier here to make my job easier, and then turn on clipping. There we go. And then we should just end up with like a little shape like this, and then we can just modify it however with the this little button here. You just turn that on, you can drag stuff around like this with vertices. I like working with vertices better than with sculpting, because with sculpting it gets very messy and your UVs look absolutely horrendous. Trust me, you don't want those UVs. Anyways, so when it comes to mouth, you want to just add a bit more geometry here to the bottom of the chin. Video editing me from the future. For those who don't know, you have to press Control R. Sorry, I forgot to mention this, to add those loops there, basically. And you do Control R and then just move the mouse and then click to apply it. You can press Enter as well. Then you want to add a bit of geometry here, and then you have like these little intersections here. What you want to do is round this off. So, for example, if you want a mouth, you should always start with an open position. I'm gonna add one more loop here because it's just needed. What you want to do is figure out where you want your character's mouth to be. So for me, I'm gonna do quite a cartoony mouth. So I'm gonna put it like right here, and I'm just gonna make it a little lower. Let me Control Z this one because it was a bit too high. There we go. Put that loop back in, and then we're just gonna delete this vertice. Then you can just delete this one. And then you're like, well, what about this section here? It's not gonna look good once the model is done. Well, we can fix that geometry by rounding it off. And to do that, I usually just use the knife tool and just connect it like this. There we go. And that should kind of make sure that your model bends correctly later on. And if you saw that, I kind of rounded it off here a little bit. The geometry won't look bad because it's just tries there, and you'll notice it's like a nice broad smile. If you don't want your character to have a smile, you can always adjust it manually by doing this, turning O on and adjusting it to be a more neutral expression. There we go. And the reason why you want a neutral expression is because later on we're going to add expressions. For example, for my character, my neutral expression is kind of smiling. And that's just because I wanted my character to be smiling constantly. Quickly get out of edit mode and apply, and then go back into edit mode and then extrude Y. It usually is a little better to make the mouth that way. Then you just scale it down, extrude, scale, and then you just do one last extrude and M at center. And I bet you're curious, well, why so short? Like, why is it just a hole inside the mouth? Well, you don't need much geometry in the back of the throat unless you're planning to go that route, but you can adjust it afterwards. Make sure you keep it quite centered, so use your Z, your X, your Y axis to adjust this, and there you go. We have like the interior of a mouth. Now if you want to adjust it for expressions, so first, let's subdivide this little sucker. So we go here, and we do a subdivision surface. And you'll notice like the geometry is all whack here on the edges and stuff. Don't worry, that's just so it deforms correctly. If we quickly do a shade smooth, there we go. It should look a little better. Right now it looks really strange. Just add some more subdivisions to it. So like just do like 3, And usually your model starts looking a little better once you have a few more subdivisions. And the geometry looks a little less whack in some occasions. Let me just quickly apply to see that everything applies correctly. Yeah, there we go. Honestly, that looks good. Though, to be fair, in some occasions, I've seen some people who model, and they make it perfectly round, like just round it off here. What some people do, and I mean, I don't do this for my models, but it technically is the correct way. What they do is they add another loop there. They add another loop here, I guess. Yeah, they add another loop here and connect it like that. And then you can just delete this edge here. You can also follow it the same way, and it honestly does look a little nicer if you look there compared to the one I did. There's several methods to make a mouth bend correctly. This is one of them, where it's just a nice circle around the mouth, and then you have like these little like triangles here that connect perfectly. Some of the model makers do it like this. I've noticed this in ᕗwell models. I've noticed this in a lot of cartoon models, but there are some models that also do it like what I did. And I mean, if you're looking for industry standard, you can do it this way. And as for the teeth, you just do the teeth separately. I'm just going to do a round cube and then just scale Z, scale Y. I usually leave it as like a circle because then it's just easier to move it around and change it. And there you go. You got your like kind of teeth-ish kind thing. You just grab this Y, make the circle bigger, and you can round off your teeth like that. Add a subdivision to it, shade smooth. And usually you want less geometry on small details like the teeth, because then, you know, it doesn't lag out your computer. But there, you just center it like that. Usually it's just the vibe you're going for. And if you want to fix this little offset, you can just do origin geometry, and that should fix your little issue there. And there you go. You have like a nice mouth that looks like that. And you'll notice the difference. If you want a more sharper look, kind of like this, here it just does a smooth transition, which is the industry standard. So we can just look at both, see which one you like. And if you like one or the other later on, what you can do is just select the half that you like. If you can agree with it, it's like, okay, I like this better for my model, for my character, for how I want him to look. You can just delete one half, and there you go. You have like one half of your character. Then you just add a mirror modifier to him like this. Make sure you turn on clipping. You go onto edit, use turn off O, and do GX again, and GX. And you'll notice there's like a seam there. Just apply the mirror modifier and done. That should fix your seam there. Now, how to make your character look like it's smiling or doing anything. And this also applies if you want your character to close their mouth. I want you to select the loop here and everything below it. Like this. So this would be the bottom jaw. So I want you to select all of the bottom jaw, then do P, select to separate it. So then you have it into two pieces, the top and the bottom jaw. And what I want you to do is select, well, either top or bottom, then just go into edit and just select this little like vertices here. And then I want you to just hide them. Just make them invisible. Oop, I hit my microphone. And the reason we do that is because we're going to start moving the mouth. Now, what I want you to do is quickly go into here and add a shape key. This will be your basis, and what basis means is it's the literal basic shape of the mouth. And then I want you to add another shape key and just rename it to close, I guess. It's nothing crazy, and put that at 100%. Keep in mind, in the latest update that's going to come out now in Blender 5.0, I think, you're going to be able to just make one. It'll only always be at 100%. Right now in Blender 4.5.4, yeah, that's the version. We don't have that, so you have to move it to 100%. But thankfully, Blender has thought about this for people like me that like to model a lot of characters that move their mouth. And, well, now what you gotta do is just quickly do edit, do this, and move your little like mouth however you want. You can adjust it with O, like this. And you can move this however you want. It doesn't matter. And what I recommend here is turning on the X here, because otherwise it's not mirrored perfectly. And this is just in case you want to close the mouth. You can just adjust it so that it's nice and flat. And there, you'll notice it's just perfectly, the vertices are connected there. They haven't moved. It's good, basically. And then for the top, you just do kind of the same, except you have to hide it again. So we just do H again. And then once we get out of edit mode, there you go. Our character has his mouth closed. And you're a little confused about this, where it's just like, why is that seam there? Don't worry, we're going to fuse it back afterwards. Now you'll notice I didn't add a shape key to this one. Well, what happens when you don't have a shape key? You can't revert it. That's your problem. So just demonstrating the issue, no shape key, you can't adjust it. And the best part about this is that you can adjust the mouth to any height. So if you ever wanted the mouth to like be slightly ajar or completely open or closed completely, you can do it like this. And this also works for animations and stuff. But yeah, well, you do basis and then just do closed. Put it at 100%. Or 1000% technically, and then just do edit and do that same thing you did before. Just connect it like this, and like that. After we get out of edit mode, your mouth should look like this, and then when you adjust it, it moves like this. And the reason why we name it the same thing, so here we're gonna name this closed. We gotta name it the same thing. Now what you can do is do Control J, then Alt H to unhide your vertices, and then do M by distance. Hey, this is Editor Swagger here, and I just want to say that it does actually work. You just gotta select them after they're grouped, edit, and then press A to select everything, and then do M by distance. And then it should work. It should get rid of the vertices. But if it still doesn't work, just do what I do after this part here. And sometimes it won't work, so you gotta go in and just kind of do stuff manually. It sucks, but you gotta fuse it manually. Sometimes that method doesn't work. And just do M at center, and that usually fixes your issue. M at center. It's either that or you adjust it until it actually does fuse at the center. So give me a second while I fuse all these vertices. Alright, and then you reach like a section like this where you're like, okay, I don't know what I'm seeing. Just put it back to open from closed, and then just select basis, and then continue editing and just like fusing the vertices. Otherwise, it's just too hard to fuse them. And there you go. It's perfectly fused. And now, if we move closed, you'll see it goes perfectly like that. And now you're going to notice these little issues here. Thankfully, we can fix those by going up here into the sculpt mode. Then make sure X is active. And we're just going to add a few little dimples here. Or rather, we can just smooth it out like this. And there. And you can also quickly use the grab tool here. Move it inwards to look more like a mouth. And if you want a more neutral expression, you can move it down like that. And make sure you smooth out any imperfections like this right here. And there. That'll apply to most of your model. And now another thing you can do is apply this, and we're going to do that for expressions now. So, I bet you're wondering, well, now we can freely adjust where the mouth is open, where the mouth is closed. What about the teeth? The teeth is the same. You just add a basis, and you just do closed, and you just do 1000%. And then whenever the mouth is closing, you just do edit, A, G, Y. Usually the top teeth don't move, so don't move the top teeth. And there you go. And usually if you're animating this, so let's say I go like this, there we go. And now it looks a lot more natural whenever he's closing his mouth. And this is just if you want to do animation, but you get the idea, all right? Leave me alone. Let's go to expressions. So what I want you to do is just select it like this, add this, do a smile one, not smile plus, just smile. Then do 1000, and then you want you to do a sculpt. We grab the grab tool here, and we just adjust it for the smile like this. Now that might look creepy, but don't worry, you just gotta move it in a little bit. It does look very creepy though. Usually your lips here move a little bit up, and then you just sculpt the little bits that you want to appear. So for example, I want to have like a very raised up, maybe a few dimples here if I just use this tool. There we go. And then we can just smooth out any imperfections that arise from that. And there you go. And then once you have your position there, you can just make him smile whenever. Even when your mouth is closed, you can do this and he'll still smile. And make sure you adjust your teeth so that they don't pop out like this. So even with mouth closed, what we could do is put this at 100%. There we go, mouth closed. Let's just do the thing there. And then he'll always be smiling. It doesn't matter if he is mouth closed or mouth open. He'll always be smiling, which works out. And then you can just adjust it. So you'll see here it looks bad. You can adjust it, smoothing that out, moving it up and down like this until they meet each other. And then adjusting it slowly. Maybe pop this out a little because it doesn't look natural. And you just keep adjusting it to the shape of the face of your character until it looks good. But there, you get the idea. Now he's smiling, now he's not. Now he's smiling, now he's not. Now he's smiling, now he's not. And you can do that for every expression. And then later on, if you're like, oh, this looks good, you can turn on multi-resolution. And we can just add the multi-resolution modifier. We subdivide a few times. And then we sculpt. And thankfully, with the multi-resolution, it's not going to affect your PC's performance. Don't worry. This is only a layer on top. And then once it's applied, it adjusts your model to look good. So multi-resolution is okay. You feel free to use it. And then what you can do is add as much detail as you want on top of the model. It doesn't matter. Everything will adapt to how it should look. You can start adding lips in. You can start adding a lot of details. Multi-resolution does do quite a good job at this. I like to use the pinch or sharpen tool. So for example, we have this tool that makes stuff flat. So I can just flatten out the lips a little. Look at that. Look at those luscious lips. And then we can smooth this out a little. Then we can sink it in a little bit right here. Sink it in on these sides. And I'm just using the default brushes because you don't really need anything else than the defaults, honestly. Usually I just use these because it's just easier. There's also the crease one you can use here for these parts of the lips if you want nice and sharp lips at the bottom and at the top. Make sure to make the brush size a little smaller. That way you only affect that section. Otherwise, you start affecting both sections. I don't really like that. I'm just going to smooth this out a little. And there we go. We should have like a nice pair of lips. Honestly, I spent a little bit of time on this. It's nothing crazy. You can spend more time on it with the multi-resolution modifier. And you can like adjust this stuff here to look a little better. I did a bit of a rush job. And I'm just quickly going to test if I can render this correctly. And there we go. You can see here, even the little like shapes and stuff appear in the render. And one thing I gotta say is once you've done this, this should only be done as a final step when you're sculpting. All right? Never, never, never do it and then like, okay, now I want to adjust. No, it cannot be done like that. You'll see here, yeah, that does not look good when the mouth is open because it just looks like a clam. And that's why you should probably only do this after you've done the positioning and stuff. So yeah, like this was sculpted to only look good when the mouth is closed. So just position the mouth and stuff however you want initially, and then apply it. Like apply all the sculpting and stuff. Otherwise, it's just going to be quite a big mess afterwards. And on top of that, just so for the people who want to know, yes, you can indeed export this. If you go to File and then you go to Export as an STL, you can indeed export as an STL. I've already done it off camera. And if I quickly re-import it, so if I import the STL again, you'll see it looks basically the same. So this is perfect for if you want to do a quick 3D print. So yeah, it'll be like full resolution. If we go into edit mode on this model, you'll see it's pretty just thick and has a lot of resolution. It's all prepped for just using in a 3D printer. One thing I will say is when you're prepping this for a 3D print, try to remove the interior of the mouth unless you plan on having the inside of the mouth be seen. I don't know, maybe you just like making really detailed models. In any case, there you go. This is just how you would export and just prep it, and it's all done basically. So now again, this is for animation. What you can do is do Shift A, and let's quickly add a bone here. Then what I want you to do is click 1 like this. I want you to scale that bone up until it's the size of the head. Then what I want you to do is edit, extrude from that bone, do Shift D on that bone, delete this one basically, and you can rename the bones to whatever. I'm not gonna name them personally. We're gonna rotate that one in the Z-axis 90 so that it looks like this. We're gonna rotate it forward like this, put it over here, and the reason we do this is so it moves with the head. It's like parented to the head, and if you really want to, you can just do a rename of this to mouth edge. There we go. Also, you should probably mark it as left or right, so this would be mouth edge L, because this is the left side of the mouth if you look at like this. But yeah, and so now we have this, and then what we can do is quickly add a shape key. So here, this would be a shape key if you're moving upwards or if you're moving it downwards, or it really doesn't matter. All of these shape keys will adjust according to where the mouth would be. So for example, if I were to position this bone, so I'm just quickly gonna do A or Control A, apply as rest pose. There we go. And then I want to pose and move this GY up like this. So this is where I want my cheek to be. And then afterwards, we're going to go here into this, and we're going to add another shape key. We're going to call this mouth side. There we go. We're going to put that at 1,000. Let me quickly lower smile. There we go. And we're going to edit, or not edit, we're going to sculpt and move this up to there, kind of like this. And obviously you can smooth it out, do whatever you want with this. I'm going to quickly smooth it out a little bit. There we go. Also, make sure you turn off mirroring. So turn this off, and then let me just make it bigger. No, need the grab tool. There we go. And let me just pull it back to where it was, but more organically. There you go. Perfect. And so now one side has the smile, the other one doesn't. Kind of like how Sonic works. And then after that, what you can do is lower the shape key. That is, if we did it correctly. Okay, well, let's quickly remove the multi-resolution, because right now what's happening is that we're modifying the multi-resolution, not the actual model. So let me just quickly make this invisible, and we're quickly gonna do that again like this. There we go. And I mean, hey, thankfully now what that means is that the multi-resolution is kind of messed up, so we can just remove it. But yeah, just make sure to remove the multi-resolution. I didn't notice I was doing it on the multi-resolution layer. I'm sorry for anyone that was following along, by the way. In any case, and then what we can do is quickly put it down to the default again. Then we go to pose here, and we're just gonna do a pose clear all, or rather, yeah, clear all. We can go into edit and move it somewhat to where the edge of the mouth would be. There we go. And for this next step, you're gonna need one singular add-on. I think it's under rigging. There we go. This add-on, Easy Driver, is really good. I really recommend you get it. I have a blast with this because it lets me make models and animations look really natural. What you gotta do now, go into pose mode, select your bone, and this is recording the minimum. So this is like the minimum that it has to be. And then if we do G, move this up like here, this is recording the maximum of it. And so now if we click here on shape keys and I drop our head here and we select our mouth side and we click here on add and create drivers, there you go. It adjusts perfectly to it. And afterwards, what happens is that as you move this, there you go. Isn't that cool? As you move it up and down, it adjusts the mouth. Let me just quickly get out of X-ray mode and then pose again, but only for the bones. You'll see it adjusts the mouth gradually. I find this really cool. It's like you're animating a mouth live, and like this is for full adjustment, right? This is if you want full adjustment over your model for animation, for just, okay, well, I want the sculpted mouth to be like there or like right there. This is for full adjustment of the mouth. And this is technically me showing you how to rig a mouth. So yeah, there you go. Make sure to get this. It's awesome. I love this program, Easy Driver. I'm gonna use it so much more in all of my animations from now on. But yeah, it's fantastic. I love doing this a lot. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think I can do anything other than this. I don't think I can add anything else to the tutorial. Honestly, best in-depth tutorial for people who want to do just sculpting and maybe a little bit of animation with your sculpt. Like, let's say you want to make your sculpt move a little and then slightly smirk. That's perfect for it. But yeah. And then if you want to do the like rigging the head, what you're gonna have to do is first turn on X-ray because I can't see the bone. There we go. And then select the body, or I think it was the body and then the bone, and then do Control P, and then do with automatic weights. If you pose now, it should move the head like this alongside the bone. But that's just rigging. You can search up any video of rigging. I'm probably gonna do one eventually. I take a while to do these tutorials. It's just something I do whenever I'm passionate. But yeah, there you go. Pretty cool details. In any case, I will see you guys in the next one. I really hope you liked this tutorial. I had fun recording this. I don't know. This is mainly for the one person on Blue Sky. Here they are. They did a pretty good job with what they did up to now. Did they use blend shapes? No. But hey, I'm showing you now. Please follow my tutorial. I swear. This is the most useful thing you'll know and learn. I promise you'll use it a lot. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And if you want to support me, or rather watch more of my stuff whenever I'm doing whatever, you can go to my main channel. This is just my side channel. I upload tutorials and stuff to this channel sometimes. Also, hi, this is my new model. I'm sorry for ghosting you guys for so long, but here, have a new tutorial. I'm just gonna upload tutorials here whenever I want. This is not a channel I physically upload to constantly. But yeah, this is it. That's it. Hope you guys have a nice day. Like and subscribe, comment down below, and follow my main channel, I guess, because I upload and do a lot of interesting stuff there, and I stream. I think honestly, I don't have a schedule for streaming right now, but yeah. Also, in the description down below, you'll have the project file. You can look at it, do whatever you want with it. Feel free to just dilly-dally around. It's okay. I promise you'll have fun with it. Well, bye-bye. Have a nice day. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.